college student, matched with a guy named James. He seemed funny, attractive, and polite. They were talking for 2 days straight, barely getting any sleep. The third night, he started asking her strange questions such as, "Are you home right now? Do you live alone?" She ignored the questions at first and directed the conversation to something else. He kept asking her the same questions. She paused for a while and then answered his questions. "Yes, I'm home right now. I do live alone." He then went offline. That night around 11 p.m., she received a picture from James. She opened it and dropped her phone. It was a picture of her apartment, taken from across the street. She ran to her window and pulled away the curtains. She saw nothing. She went back to her bed and picked up her phone. "What the hell?" she said. Another photo comes through. Her hands shake as she clicked to open the photo. It was taken right by her window. She swung around and looked at the window, and again, nothing. "I can see you typing," he replied. "I am going to call the police." He replied with a laughing emoji and blocked her. When the police arrived, they found nothing but a little note by her window. It read, "See you later." Alan and Alina instantly clicked when they matched on Tinder 3 months ago, mostly because their names were similar, just the male and the female version. Alina knew almost everything about Alan, but somehow Alan knew very little about Alina. She would always try and change the conversation or just gave a random answer to a question. Alan felt something was off, but thought maybe she doesn't like talking about herself. Alan told Alina that they should meet up. Alina was hesitant at first, but then finally agreed. Alan was thrilled. Alina wanted to meet at an abandoned area outside of town. Alan agreed. The next day, Alan went to the location they discussed. There was no one in sight, so abandoned was this place. Chills went down his spine. He texted Alina, "Here." A few moments later, he saw a girl walking out from behind a building. He was shook. This girl looked a little different than in her photos, but he shrugged it off. They spent talking for about 10 minutes when Alina got a text. I should go," she said with her voice shaking. "Is everything okay?" Alan asked. Yeah, just need to head back." "Oh, okay, maybe we can meet tomorrow again." "Yeah, I don't know. I am not supposed to be here." She then turned around and walked away. Alan stood there and thought, why does this girl look so familiar? All the way home, he tried to think of where he saw this girl. When he arrived home, he took out his laptop and started looking her up. First, he looked up her photos, but there was no match. Then he looked up her name, Elena Giblet. Boom. He realized this was the missing girl he saw on the news a few years back. She was abducted from her home, and the police still have not found her. Can this be? He thought to himself. Alan decided to message Alina. OMG, you were that missing girl that was abducted a few years back. Alina read the message almost instantly. She started typing back to him, but she never hit send. She blocked Alan on everything and deleted her profile. Alan contacted the police and told them about his interaction with Alina, but they could not find a single trace of her. The police thought Alan was doing this for attention. They dismissed the information that Alan gave. 2 weeks later, Alan was on his way to work when he got a message from an unknown number reading, "Yes, I am the girl that was abducted. Please help me." Josh and Megan met on Tinder a few days ago. Josh fell in love with her. One afternoon, they went out on a date. The evening went fairly well, but Megan felt a little uncomfortable. Josh kept dropping comments that didn't sit right with Megan. He would say, "I can't wait for us to move in together," or "I want to see what the inside of your room looks like. It must be just amazing." After the date, Josh tried to kiss Megan, but she played it off into a hug. They both went home. On Josh's way home, he got a text from Megan. "I think we must stop talking. You are a good guy, but I'm not really looking for anything serious right now. Josh replied. No, please, give me another chance. We are perfect together. I love you. Then Megan blocked him. Josh became furious. He spent the whole night thinking of a plan to get her back. The next day, he went to her apartment, waiting for her to leave. After waiting for an hour, she finally left her house. She did not lock her door. He walked up to her door and said to himself, Silly Megan, you must always lock your door. He entered her apartment, walked around and took everything in. He noticed she had a small attic. He said to himself, Sweet Megan, I will stay here and protect you. He left her apartment. The next day he waited outside of her apartment for her to leave again, and she did. He entered her house and set up a small hidden camera in her bedroom. Then he pulled down the attic door and began setting up his sleeping bag. The rest of the day he spent admiring Megan's house, going through her drawers, smelling her clothes. Later that day, Megan came back and she lied on the bed and started to fall asleep. Josh watched the camera and made sure she was fully asleep. He came down and watched her. He took a few photos of her sleeping. You are so beautiful, he whispered. The following morning she woke up and noticed the attic door wasn't fully closed. Megan got a chill down her spine. She hates the attic, never even been up there. She closes the attic door and got ready for work. Josh comes done again and does his ritual of smelling her clothes, then also leaves. He goes to the shop and buys her some flowers, and her favorite chocolate that he distinctly remembers her saying was dark chocolate. He comes back and places it on her bed with a note that read, Hope you had a good day, XOXO. He hears her coming back and he rushes to get up in the attic again, watching the camera to see her reaction to his gifts. Before she walks into the door, her neighbor stops her and asks her how she and this new guy is doing. Confused, she asks, What are you talking about? The neighbor replies, The guy that's coming in and out of your apartment. Her heart dropped. She cuts the conversation short and enters her apartment. Then she sees the gifts on her bed and reads the note. What the hell? She says. She unblocks Josh and types. Were you in my house? He replied. You should really lock your doors. Do you like the flowers and chocolate? It's your favorite. I remember. Do not come here again or I'm going to call the cops, you weirdo. Josh smiles at his phone, thinking she is just playing hard to get. Later that night, she pretends to sleep. She heard the attic door opening. Her heart starts pounding. She hears footsteps approaching her. She sees the camera flash behind her eyelids, and then his voice. I will always stay with you, and you with me.